Thanks to a wonderful franchise starring Johnny Depp, pirates have become something romantic and even kind. It's funny because in reality they were no less, if not more powerful guys. Today we will live one day in the skin of the most ordinary pirate of the golden age of this profession. How did the most powerful empires employ pirates? Why was being a pirate more prestigious than any civilian profession? Meet our guest, Henry Kidd. Around that time, piracy became considered one of the most serious crimes. However, the states quickly realized that by taking on the service of pirates, you can do a lot of dirty work, officially leaving their hands clean, and in words, pirates became a lifesaver. From here went a dozen familiar to all the names of filibusters, corsairs, copiers, privateers. All these terms are invented in different countries but mean the same thing: legalized pirate. France, Holland, England and other countries during the war gave pirates instructions what ships can be attacked and with it a paper protecting the guys on their territory. And those glad under the protection of certificate quietly entered the state ports and replenished provisions and were very respectable people. Hundreds of cases are known of pirates moving into official employment in the navy occupying high positions. A prime example is Sir Francis Drake, an English pirate who raided Spanish ships. He once sent Queen Elizabeth a modest gift of 2 years' income of an entire country. As a result, Francis was ordained a lord and made an honorary citizen of England and protected from Spain in every legal way possible. It is 1718, which is considered by many to be the golden age of piracy, because in this year most of the pirates were destroyed. But about this later. And now let's talk about the environment of our Henry Kidd. He and his ship are standing in the city of Nassau, which is still considered the capital of Bahamas. Henry stopped there for a reason, because the guy is an official member of the shore fraternity. In 1706, the United Brotherhood of Pirates actually captured the Bahamas, and Nassau was considered the capital of the so-called Pirate Republic, which even had its own flag. In terms of international law, the islands belonged to England. But in fact, the British administration left, and the pirates easily repelled Spanish and French attacks with the help of available ships and a fort. There are many tales of pirate states in books and movies, but the Pirate Republic of Nassau remains the largest entity that was really a mini-state. In general, the movies about the Pirates of the Caribbean quite well convey the costumes and appearance of the pirate crews. The bodies of working men were often strewn with a pile of tattoos, and not just for cover, because at that time criminals were often stigmatized. The Spanish burnt on their bodies the letter P crowned with a crown, the French the Bourbon lilies, and the English were marked with anchors and often changing coats of arms. It's logical to assume that Henry's crowds of 80% consist of criminals. And no less logical that tattoos guys hid the stigma of a criminal. Also, on the most prominent place of the ship hangs a coat signed by all members of the crew. One of the first to practice this was the legendary pirate Henry Morgan, famous for his brutal raids. The guy ended up being a favorite of the English authorities and even became vice-governor of Jamaica. Oh, thanks to the code, the punishment for violating which was sometimes even lethal. Each captain could draw up his own code. For example, the personal code of the same Francis Drake was albeit unspoken, but thanks to him, the award after the battle received even the last younger. And often Captain Drake remained at a disadvantage in order to encourage each worker of the team. Of course, there are a couple of myths around pirates. Perhaps the most common is drunkenness. Guys love to drink, but the vast majority of ships at sea had a dry law. A pirate's job is not easy and requires concentration, and a drunken crew could go down in the first storm. The same was true of gambling. Pirates loved them, but as was drinking, it was only a matter of stopping in ports and having fun on land. On ships, a good crew was a well-oiled machine where everyone knew their place. Let's talk about the very pirate republic in the Bahamas where our Henry is based. In 1706, it was a funny situation. The massive wars between the states were over, and they realized that it was much cheaper to negotiate at the table. At sea, pirates in the service of the king were no longer needed and were slowly being hunted. A large group of pirates concentrated in the Bahamas and actually constituted a small state. The legendary Edward Teach, nicknamed Blackbird, is considered its most popular resident. There were dozens of the most powerful corsairs in the Bahamas, and all of them were united but one thing: freedom. Trouble is, it was freedom that ruined their pirate. The Republic didn't even have a ruler. On paper, it was a Benjamin Hornigold, but in fact, the office meant nothing. In the Bahamas, there were no courts, laws, and something beyond pirate freedom, and when in 1717 England remembered that legally has the rights to the island, to fight for independence was nobody. The English took an unprecedented step. A former corsair, Wood Rogers, who had become a British military officer, was sent to the Pirate Republic. He brought to the Pirates' Council a Rio treasure, a document on amnesty. All the inhabitants were offered to become subjects of the empire, and in return the empire would forget their sins and ask them to live by their own laws. But pirates are not lawful, and many, including Blackbird, refused to carry it. As a result, the vast majority of the rebel pirates were simply killed, and the survivors either became subjects of the British Empire or went underground. What our Henrys choose as a mystery. We only note that despite all the horrors, pirates at least were honest guys. We're talking about the old hardcore pirates who had more logic than the states. After all, for example, a ship's crew could easily send the captain away and choose a new one. Now, however, it's not worth romanticizing their image either. After all, in fact, it is a murderer and robber, albeit with its own code. Another thing is that times were not fun. Life was not worth a dime, so in the realities of the Middle Ages, pirates may have been the most democratic community on the planet. Guys, if this video was useful for you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and then we'll see you in the next video.